Welcome to the On a Mission Mojo podcast, where I have the pleasure of interviewing impact-driven founders, entrepreneurs, authors, and business experts who are actively working to create a positive difference in our world. I'm your host, Lori Young, a branding specialist, certified master marketer, and a passionate advocate for brands that possess heart, soul, and an unwavering commitment to drive change for humanity. It takes grit, a visionary mindset, and an abundance of mojo to navigate this journey. And the stories I share will undoubtedly ignite your passion. If you're seeking an infusion of inspiration, motivation, and valuable insights to amplify your impact, let's dive right in. Welcome to episode 13 of On a Mission Mojo podcast. I am so excited today. We have got a powerhouse guest in the house with us today. And I've been following her for a very long time, have watched her journey over the years. And I can tell you, she is going to be an inspiration and a source of learning for all of us that are listening today. So let me introduce you to Jana Short. She is a force of nature in the world of influencers and entrepreneurs. With a passion for empowering others, Jana effortlessly wears many hats. Brand strategy specialist, NLP and RTT master practitioner, visionary entrepreneur, and a 3-time best-selling author. She's also the soulful voice behind a podcast and the editor-in-chief of Best Holistic Life magazine, reflecting her holistic approach to life. In 2023, Jana earned the titles of Top Magazine Publisher and Publicist of the Year by IOATP, Top 15 Coach in Los Angeles by Influence Digest Los Angeles, and Woman of the Year by Hollywood Soulish Magazine. Her influence has graced magazine covers, including San Francisco Soulish Magazine in July 2022. For the second consecutive year, she's named Los Angeles Entrepreneur Magazine's Top Influencer of 2022. Beyond the accolades, Jana's true distinction lies in her emotional intelligence and her innate ability to inspire. She's not just making waves, she's creating a transformation tide that changes lives. So welcome so much, Jana, for being here. I'm so grateful that you have agreed to be a guest. And I know that everyone is just going to love this episode.
Thank you so much, Lori. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we just start out so that people get to know you a little bit more. Share with us a little bit about your mission in the world.
Wow, my mission is pretty basic and simple. It's literally to make sure that I'm sharing hope with the world. I found myself in a situation over a decade ago, 12 years ago in April, that I had absolutely no hope of surviving. And that is a horrible feeling. I always tell people it was like being sentenced to death, which I was. Right. And then having surrounded by guards and you're cuffed, right? And you're being marched day by day towards the end and you're looking for an out and it's like the anxiety. I think of the anxiety now that comes up in me when I think of how I felt then. And that's a horrible feeling. But here I am over a decade later, surviving and thriving. I don't even like the word survivor. I'm a thriver in the same diagnosis. Nothing's changed. And so here I am 12 years later, thriving. And so for me, it's about getting those messages of hope out, showing people that today may look really bad. This moment might be feel like the worst in your life, but tomorrow is different, right? There's always hope. And moving towards that hope is the ripple effect I want to put out into the world and the kind of legacy I want to leave behind.
I love that. I love that. We all need hope, especially today. There's so many, I think, discouraged business owners out there that are just finding the economy is weighing on them, like the crowded marketplace is weighing on them. And yeah, we need hope, especially with robots kind of taking over our life, right? We need like real human hope. So thank you for doing what you do. So take us back, I guess, 12 years ago, and like how you got started, like on this mission. Like, what did you decide to do? Like there was this catalyst of something in your life where you felt like you did not have hope. What did you do to start like igniting that hope and kind of changing your life?
I will tell you, it's the universe. The universe, I opened up to it and followed
Okay.
its lead. A lot of time we fight the lead because it's either too much work or that'll never happen for me or I'm not ready for that yet. Or even for me, it was that's ridiculous.
Right.
But I opened up to the universe and its plan. And just because I didn't have time, right? So I'm like, okay, then I'll just do that. I'll move into that. But for me, I wanted to know more like, why am I still here months into being told I only had a few weeks? Why am I still
Mm,
here? What is happening? And I realized that what changed wasn't my physical health or wellness. It was what was between these beautiful ears we all have, right? What's in
right.
between that? What gave me the hope to keep moving day by day? What challenged me to get up in the morning? And so I was literally on my deathbed putting in the words on my little laptop, desperate for health answers, looking for holistic options. And
Okay.
the world opened up. Like, where else can you type something that like that into a gadget and
Right.
extend your reach across the globe? And tons of advice came in, amazing things came in, but also the people who got out of bed that morning and said, hey, look, people are making money in the holistic world. I'm going to do it too. And they had
Hmm.
no education. They were selling product, like whatever product they were making profit on. By the way, I'm a huge fan of product and MLM companies. That is something that helped me save my life on the journey.
Okay. Okay.
Having said that, you need to market it correctly, right? First, do no harm. Don't make claims that aren't true.
Right.
Really find out what's going on with that person first. But I happen to fall into that perfect niche of all of those things. And I found help and hope. And I wanted to know why. So I went back to school in my 50s, right? I
Okay.
wanted more
Wow.
education, right? I got
Okay.
certified to be a mindset coach. And then I wanted to understand, like, oh, I love the internet. It's amazing. Like, look what I found. Does everybody know about this internet thing?
Right.
I went on to learn more about like, how do I connect? Because nobody was connecting with me when I was sick, except for the fact I was desperate and I would have done anything they asked me to because
Hmm.
it beat the alternative.
Sure.
And
Of course.
so people were able to take advantage of the situation if you allowed it. I fortunately had a very supportive, educated group of doctors and people who knew that isn't true, that will
Hmm.
not work, and help guide me, which not everybody has.
Hmm.
So I wanted to make a space on social media where there's a couple of things happening. We're connecting with you emotionally, that you can see that we're invested in you. I wanted to create a platform where people like you, Lori, could come
Hmm.
and share what it is you do and how you're changing the world and start creating that safe space, start building real trust and rapport with the possible people who need your help and services. Like, I
Right.
don't know why we put a plaque out there or a graphic out there and we think, why aren't they signing up? Why aren't they giving me their money? Like, I don't know you. Like,
Right.
take the time to make real connection. And so I went back to school. How do I
Again.
do this? Right. How do you do
Uh-huh.
this? How do you make that in this space where so much craziness? And
Yes.
so I again, the universe showed me. And
Hmm.
that was important for me to create like the magazine, the podcast, all of it, where people were sharing hope, connecting with others, and starting to build that trust and rapport. So people had a safe space to come and say,
Hmm.
I'm concerned about this, I'm scared about that. How do I do this? And get the actual help that they need.
Right. So, what year was it that you started the magazine, Best Holistic Life?
2019.
2019. It's so funny because I've been on LinkedIn for a very long time, and I don't know if that's your primary platform, but it's my primary platform. And I honestly feel like I remember like when you first like came out with this magazine. Like I feel like I remember like when you first started posting about it, and it was I was like, wow, this is super cool. And like I said, I've been following you for years. So I've watched it just like morph into this like amazing like project, amazing baby. Like it's a big grown adult now. It was a little baby back then, but now it's a big grown adult. So tell us a little bit about the magazine so that people can know what that is.
I would love to. It's called Best Holistic Life because it's about your holistic lifestyle. And I want you
Hmm.
to know it's not one magic pill. It's not one magic coach. It's not one magic anything. It's
Right.
a series of multiple changes in our life, right? It's our spiritual well-being, our physical well-being. It's our mental well-being. It's like our relationships. If you just kind of deny any part of that is part of your business journey or your relationship journey, you're wrong.
Hmm.
And so this was able to open up space to teach you about all of the things. So when I
Right.
first created it in 2019, I had to slow down on my coaching because I was booked 2 years out.
Oh,
And
wow.
my grandson, who, by the way, is a person I survived for, I have five grandchildren. He was number seven total now, but five
Okay.
at the time. But he was just born. He was only 3 months
Oh.
old when I was given this diagnosis. And
Hmm.
I wanted to create a memory with him. And so on the journey of creating a memory, I took on all these coaching clients, and he
Hmm.
was old enough to be in a play at school, and he asked me, Nana, can you come to my play? Yes, I'm so excited. Yes. Then I
Uh-huh.
looked at my calendar and I realized it's 2.5 hour drive there, plus the day at the play, and then I would have to cancel a whole day, and I had nowhere to move clients, nowhere.
Mm.
I'm
Oh,
so
wow.
grateful that I was booked, and to me, mentally, that was success.
Hmm.
It wasn't success for me because for me to be successful, it was about really being engaged with my clients, with my grandkids, with my spouse, with all the people that I was coming
Right.
in contact with, and that was not it. And so I had to make a change. So I slowed down on coaching.
Hmm.
People were asking me, can you at least do a newsletter and get it out to us? Well, I didn't have time.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord, I'm like, but I know all these incredible people. I know some celebrities, all these people I've been coaching. They're amazing. I'm going to ask them to write me an article,
Right.
like a little blog post. And
Hmm.
I thought I'd get one or two. I think I got 35 for the first
Oh,
issue.
wow.
And I thought, well, what am I going to do with all these? So I went into Canva and I created
Uh-huh.
like a little magazine and a little PDF, and I added it to my newsletter. But you had to sign up for the newsletter, and we got 35,000 people signed up for that very first.
35,000 just the first time
Yes,
around?
yes.
Oh my gosh. Like, what was the secret behind that?
I
Was
have
it
no
just who
idea.
you
I
who
wish
you
I knew.
knew?
I don't know. Honestly, it was before COVID, so it was before we had nothing but social media. Again, the universe putting me in just the right place at just the right time, because I listened. But
Hmm.
I honestly don't. Well, I think this is part of it too. When I'm not collaborating, I'm sinking. When I'm
Mm.
pulling in others to help lift them, I'm growing. And when I grew the magazine, those 35 people, again, some of them were celebrities, some of them
Right.
had huge following, some of them had 20 followers, but they were so passionate about what they did. They got
Right.
out there and shared their article. So I didn't know those people. So think about, I had 35 people that I took the money and the time to create this beautiful magazine, put it
Hmm.
out to my social media, which I think at the time was like 2,800 people,
Okay. Hmm.
and put it out to my social media people, and they did the same. And they wanted their magazine, and it was free, and so they would go and sign up for it. We did that for the first year. We did every season. We did a
Hmm.
newsletter with articles
So
in it.
like
With
a spring, fall, like spring, summer, fall, winter. So we're
I,
just doing quarterly
yep,
episodes.
for
Okay. Got
sure.
it.
By the
Okay.
end of the year, we had 227,000 subscribers. And so I added three special issues to the
O-
second year.
Okay.
And at the end of that year, we had over 500,000 subscribers. And
Wow.
so then we went to releasing monthly, which is what we've been doing for the last 3 years now. So we
Hmm.
released monthly after that, and it has been unbelievable. We're at 1.5 million subscribers, but it's all because we collaborate with others.
Yes.
I honestly believe I was raised in a business world, and when
Hmm.
I showed up at an executive table with men and women, men put me in my place. I was a coffee getter, I was a note taker, I was a
Mm.
clean up this mess when we're done person, or make sure to order that person.
Right.
Um, but I was as educated as them, and maybe even smarter than some of them.
Sure.
And
Hmm.
women competed with me. They wanted, like,
Mm.
they felt like they had to compete to be seen above another woman. And one
Right.
of the things I learned through this journey and getting ill is we do not need to compete. We are
Hmm.
no better than anyone else. Everything we bring to the table is unique and special and different and needs to be heard.
Sure.
And so when I created the space, it was exactly like that. And I made sure that 'cause it does rear its ugly head every once in a while. I see somebody, I'm like, oh my God, they're so amazing. I want to be more like that. But that isn't me. That's them and they're doing beautiful. And so I have
Right.
to go back. I'm not, how do I lift them instead of trying to compete in that field? So I think that once you learn that collaboration secret, I built my best-selling books because the first two were collaborations, right? That was on
Okay.
my shoulders to go out and promote that book. It was 25 other writers that were promoting the
Got
books. We
it.
all had a
Hmm.
chapter. So
Right.
once you learn that little secret that you're giving and receiving, it's so nice.
So tell me, there's a lot of people I've run into clients, for instance, who speaking about collaboration and competition. Like, share with us, I guess, a little bit about your thoughts around mm, do we should we collaborate with people that we see as our competitors, or do we just see everyone is kind of unique and have things, like oftentimes, like I've been asked by other digital marketers or other website development companies to be a guest on my show, right? And I'm like, is that like in competition with like what I do? Like if I know that I'm a digital marketer and I'm, developing websites for companies and I bring on someone else that's developing websites, is that competition or is that collaboration? Like, how do you find that, like that line, I guess?
That would be my people. That's exactly who I would collaborate with. Here's why. If I
Okay.
collaborate, with, I don't know, a mechanic, right? I go
Hmm.
out and this mechanic wants to collaborate with me. That's not my audience, right? I'm collaborating
Right.
to a deaf audience that doesn't know anything about what I'm doing. But if I collaborate with someone doing what I do, it's
Hmm.
greatness. And by the way, I don't feel like we own any of our clients. I feel like the universe will
No.
tell them where they should be. And so if I collaborate with you, for instance, and
Hmm.
I have clients say, you know what, I'd really like to work with Lori. Yes, you should then. Like 100%. How do I support you in that? I only have so much room anyways.
True.
And
Hmm.
honestly, I know for every person, I'm like, yes, how do I support you? Do you want me to connect you with them? And that is exactly what I do, by the way. You can ask any of the people I work with. I'm 100% like, yes, move there because that's where the universe is telling you to go and grow. And who knows, you may resonate back to me at a later date when there's something else you need to learn. But when I collaborate with them, I'm speaking to the exact audience I need to bring in to my wheelhouse, right? That
Hmm.
might be like, oh, I don't want to work with her, but I love her magazine. Oh, I don't want to work with her, but I checked out her podcast and I really enjoy that. 100% that's what I would do. Plus, I'm bringing my audience to them. They're bringing their audience to me. And it
Hmm.
really, when it works that way, it's really beautiful. I don't care if one of my clients were to say, I think that I've learned all I can here. They're not
Right.
supposed to be my clients for life, right? If they're my clients for life, I did something wrong. I want them to grow and move to that next level. And maybe
Hmm.
that person's their next level.
Right. I love that. I mean, I love that. It's a definitely a different way to look at collaboration and just using the, I guess, the universe to let the universe guide people to where they need to be and who they need to be working with. So, how do you like, of course you've got a huge following now, but back in the younger days, how would you find the people that you wanted to collaborate with?
Um, So even to this day, I'm very, as you know, anyone who writes for us or is on the podcast, I meet first, and I really trust
Hmm.
my intuitive feelings towards them.
Hmm. Hmm.
I want to make sure the energy is really good. I want to make sure they're
Right.
in it for the right reason. So, for instance, if I work with someone and I meet with them and they're like, I want to do an article, I really want to grow my social media platform to thousands. I know that person's not my person. They're
Right.
not, the energy's not the same. They're not in it for the same reasons. They're not in it for a bad reason. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do that.
Sure. Hmm.
But if somebody says like, I need to be recognized, I want people to know who I am. I want them to hear my message. Those are my people. And
Mm.
so I want to meet with them and have that kind of energy flow with them. So what I used to do is, now they just come, but
Right.
before they would come, I would go and look, I would Google like, a health influencer, mindset
Mm-hmm.
coach, NLP practitioner. And then I would like look at their social media. Are they
Mm-hmm.
showing up for their clients? Are they engaging with them? Are they just a bunch of sales? Like, here's this week, buy this week. If their fitness, or is it all just protein powders and supplements? Are they
Right.
educating and really reaching in? Once I saw like they're in it for their clients, I would
Mm-hmm.
ask to have a call with them. I would want to hear their story. Almost every single one of those people came out of something that led them, just
Mm.
like me. I'm an interior
Right.
designer. That's what I went to school for,
Right.
which is probably one of the reasons I did the magazine, because it had to be pretty, right? And
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
visually attractive. So I would listen to their story and I'm like, this person has a message. They care about the outcome of their clients and they're educated in what they do. And
Right.
that's how I would offer them free space.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. So I love the, I also love what you said about just being very intuitive. I think somebody asked me, how do I decide like who is going to be a guest on my show? Right. And for me, it is very much an intuitive thing. It's like I read about someone, I listen to their story, like why are they doing what they're doing? What's their story all about? And if it's a story that really resonates with me and I really feel something in my heart, it's like absolutely let's talk, because I just want to, I'm a like a real feel good person. So I like to have people on the show that are out there doing amazing things like you, that are out there like truly serving humanity, and that are truly wanting to make a difference in the world. And you can tell when people are, they're on a mission to do good in the world, and that's the kind of people that I like to collaborate with. And I think a lot of times it just, you need to intuitively feel what feels right for you and make sure that it's aligned.
I agree. And I think the more you're centered in your purpose, like what your passion and purpose is, the
Mm-hmm.
easier it is to feel that read, right? You get all the good feels or you get red flags. And those red flags, listen to them. Like,
Right.
just because you're saying no now, like if I were to say, no, I don't think you're a good fit for the podcast, it's literally not now. Maybe there's something else that you need to be doing first. Maybe there's
Sure.
something better that you need to experience to bring to the table. So I follow that intuitive instinct now completely.
Yes, absolutely. So you've had lots of success. And it feels like when I listen to you that the journey has been like so easy and you grew like so fast. But I know, I just know from experience that whenever something this big is happening, that it comes with challenges. So let's talk about, I guess, some of the challenges that you've faced in growing your brand, growing this magazine. Like, let's talk about that.
So nothing was nothing was hard, by the way. It was all easy. Having said that, it didn't mean I didn't fall a million times. Sometimes I fell at the same space every single time. Having said that, when you are in your passion in your zone and you just feel good about it, even the hard stuff is easy. You're like, I
Mm-hmm.
got this. Like, it's not going to slow me down. It's not going to stop me, because I now love what I do. And so that was super easy. Having said that, I started this in my 50s. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't raised in the internet app field, right? I barely could use my phone. Like,
Right.
back then when you had to text, you had to hit the button 2 or 3 times to get the right letter. I could not text. So for me to learn all those things that are like, what is a hashtag? What does that mean? That out sign? What is a URL? Like little things like that. How do I use app? How do I set up my email system? That has been absolutely insane for me. And here's the thing, once you learn it, they've improved it. You got to learn it again.
Exactly.
There's so much more. Oh, yes, but now we don't do it that way. We do it this way because they're so fast in the way they're creating technology. And I didn't go to school. We didn't know that. I still had the old filing system, the Dewey Decimal System, and it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, that has been the biggest challenge, is getting my brain, because I'm in the digital world, to wrap my head around what that looks like. And make sure that it gets done, because there's no way I can run a digital magazine and a published magazine that goes out to that many people and not know something. So I will tell you, as you grow, you got to let some of it go. And you
Yeah.
have to bring on people. Like if you're going to go big, you've got to bring on a big team, people you
Right.
trust, that are invested in what you do, and that you have that great energy flow with, and bring
Right.
them on to help you with that. So yeah, that's been my biggest challenge is, why is my computer doing this? Well, where did it go? I can't find it.
Right. Technology, boy, there is just always technology. I feel like, I think I'm about the same age as you, and I see myself as pretty tech savvy. But boy, it's just like tech issues always come up. It's just like, are you kidding? Not another one.
Yep.
And now, it's like this whole AI thing. And I don't, how do you feel about like AI? I'm just curious, like, what's your whole like take on AI? And because you're a very heart-centered person, a very authentic person, like, what's your stance, I guess, on AI?
I love AI.
Do
I am
you?
obsessed with it if you use it right. So for
Okay.
me, let's just say I'm putting an article in the magazine. I write my article and then I read it. And then I think to
Mm-hmm.
myself, what is the purpose of this article? You just don't write to put stuff out there. What is the purpose
Mm-hmm.
of this article? What is the one thing I want them to feel emotionally? How do I want to connect with them? And what is the takeaway? Like, what is the actionable takeaway I want them to have? Then I
Mm-hmm.
put my article into a chat GPT is what I use, but I put it into the AI program and I make those notes. This is my article, but I want this to be the outcome. I want my
Okay.
readers to actually experience this feeling. And I want them to understand how to make this actionable thing that they can do to improve in that one moment, right? Like this is a thing I can do right now today to make that
Mm-hmm.
first step forward. And then I put it in there and it restructures it just enough where those words are now implemented in there. And so that their brain is picking up, like, oh, this is an actionable takeaway. It's not part of the storyline. I'm not the kind of, because I am heart centered, I'm not the kind of person who's going to write bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, check this off, even though it's how my brain works. I'm more
Mm-hmm.
about connecting emotionally. Like, what does it feel like when it's a disaster? But when I start putting pieces together, how does that story take me to the outcome? And I want to take them on a journey of going through the system. But then I miss those actionable takeaways. I
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, as you'll notice in here, rattle on and like, did I say that already? So it's really easy for me to pop that into an AI program and have it connect. But here's a couple of tricks. I always
Mm-hmm.
write into the AI instructions, write this in human tone and not AI generated, because AI
Okay.
generated, they pick words that I would never use.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And you're like, what is that word? I don't even know what that means.
Right. Exactly. Yes.
I always tell them to put it into human tone. I always tell them not to search the internet for anything, just
Okay.
use what
Okay.
I gave it. And so
Okay.
we'll do that. And to always grab an actionable quote from me. And so it's a personal quote from my words. So
Okay.
those are things I ask it to do, but I love, love, love AI.
Yeah. So I have kind of a, I don't know what I wouldn't say it's a love hate relationship with AI. I think the part of me that struggles with it is just like exactly how to use it to get out what I need. Like I definitely use AI, but I also like pride myself on the fact that I write a lot of content just from me and from my heart. And I don't let AI touch it like at all. Usually I use AI when I'm feeling stuck,
Yep.
like, and I just can't seem to like get my point across. Sometimes I can say, like, I'll use AI, I'm in marketing. So it's like, I'll use AI. I'll say, here's the product description. Here's all the benefits, the transformations, blah, blah, blah. Write me a short, unique value proposition for this. So something like simple. Or it's like, oh, I want to write a blog about X. These are the things that I want to cover. Give me an outline. So sometimes like I feel like if I feel like I'm not in a creative zone, which, sometimes we like so in a creative zone and we can just start writing and everything just comes out. Other times we're just like, you feel like creatively blocked. And when I feel creatively blocked, I use AI to just like get me started. Like, okay, yeah, let's go in that direction. Here's an outline. Now I can take this and I can write. But
Here's where I would tell you should always use it. Always. When you're coming up with your titles. We tend to, it's like naming our babies, right? We tend to
mhm,
get a little wordy. It's not SEO friendly. If it's not SEO friendly, it's not going to come. There's so much on the social media right now and on the internet
right.
that you want to make sure that it's really helping. So I always will put in my article and say, give me 10 titles to choose from. I want
Love
to
it.
pique their curiosity. I want it to be asked like a question. Keep it under so many words and make it SEO friendly to my article. It sees your article, it knows what the keywords are, and it gives me 10 options for titles. I even do that when I put out an email. Give me a subject title for my email that will help me get opens, get them like make them laugh,
Right.
make them get
Mhm.
excited, and it'll give me 10 options for subject titles. When you're doing call to actions, it's just like what you just said. This is the
Mhm.
outcome. This is what I want. This is what they're going to feel about it. Give me 10 really cool call to actions that really get their juices flowing.
Right.
But here's another place you can use it. You know that button that you say register here, grab your seat. Those don't
Right.
work. It should
Yeah.
be an actionable thing like start the journey today. Like, and if you ask it to give me those actionable things to put on a button, they're
Mhm.
amazing. Like start your journey now. And it's like
Right.
actionable today. It tells my brain, this is what I'm getting. I'm starting my journey now, not reserving a seat for later.
Right.
So
Right.
those are great ways to use AI. And by the way, I use that for all of that stuff.
Yeah. And that's I like that. And I think I am going to start using it for more marketing hooks. Like,
Yeah.
because if we look at, like, for instance, social media, and we're putting out content, the first sentence that everyone reads on your content is that hook, right? And if that hook is not, if you don't nail that hook, people aren't even going to read any further.
It's like the cover of any book. You've got your title, but that little verbiage that is across should be tell you exactly what you're receiving from that book. Tools and strategies to grow your business in 48 days or something like
Right.
that. It has to be,
Right.
what am I going to get when I read this book? And so you got to have it in a really short, brief sentence.
Yes, absolutely. So, one of the things I wanted to ask you too is, I know that you are very, very busy, and you're wearing a lot of different hats, besides, like, relying on your team to take care of things for you. Like, how do you, like, manage your time? Like, how do you, like, be the CEO of your life and make sure that you have time for that holistic practices in your life, while also running your business and sharing hope with the world?
So I'm so glad you asked me that because I think it's super important that people understand that you come first. I am
Mhm.
doing this because I was blessed with more time on this earth. And I'm not going to waste it building more money, more business, more followers, more subscribers, whatever that looks like. For me, I figured out what my values were super quickly when I was on my deathbed. It
Right.
wasn't about getting more Louis Vuittons or carrying a new Hermes bag, or I had a Bentley back then. I don't even care what I drive right now.
Right.
None of that became important to me because I realized I wasn't taking that. So I know what my core values are. My core value
Hmm.
is, my spirituality, my family, my health, like my relationships with others. And
Right.
those are scheduled. This is going to sound so stupid, but they are scheduled on my calendar. I know that like Wednesdays are my day with my husband. He
Hmm.
also is off Wednesdays, and that's our full day of just connecting with each other, going to a movie, taking a walk, planning
I love
something.
it.
I make sure that those grandkids I struggle so hard to be here for, if they
Right.
call, everything ceased to exist. I'm making contact. I'm listening to what they say, and I'm like being in that moment. We're given this journey as a gift, and
Hmm.
honestly, I didn't take it as a gift. Took it as I got to do this, and I have to do that, and I got to provide
Mm.
this. Now I'm so grateful for every moment. So I structure the things that are important to me, my core values, into my calendar. Like it's
Hmm.
just a reminder to me because as a mom of four, and anyone else who's a mom will understand that when you get sick, can you call your kids like, hey, look, I'm sick today. Sorry, I'm not going to show up to drive you to school or do this or do that.
Right.
You just
Right.
showed up and did it,
Yes.
sick. So we
Yes.
get busy and we're like, oh, I've got commitments here, I got commitments there. My number one commitment is to myself and those core values that I identified very quickly on this journey, this part of my journey. These I'm not going to compromise on. These are
Mm-hmm.
important to me. And as long as I kept following that, everything's been kind of nice. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say to you, what's the 4 core values in your life? What's important to you? And it doesn't
Right.
matter. It could be like, if it is saving money, that could be a great core value. That was what makes you feel safe. There's no
Sure.
judgment. But whatever those are for you,
Mm-hmm.
you definitely want to make sure that those are incorporated into your daily routines. So I definitely incorporate that in. I take specific days off. Like right now, I'm writing a book, and it's hard when you're writing a book and you're busy and you're
Mm-hmm.
distracted because you have calls and you go back to writing. Like, did I already say that? Did I cover this? What did I say earlier in chapter 2? And I'm on chapter 7. It's
Right.
really hard. So I've decided to gift myself a week here and a week there. That's just nothing but writing, because I
Right.
want it to be based on what my core values are and connect with the right people. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you schedule time for yourself and your core values should be your number one priority. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what phase of life you're in, your pre-babies, during raising children, after raising children. You have to come first.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So for listeners that are younger in their business journeys, and maybe don't have the time, they don't have the money or the resources to hire a team, and the hustle culture is out there, right? Just knocking on the door. If you want to grow your business, you need to work hard. You've got to do this, you've got to do that. Like, what's your take on, like, getting rid of that hustle culture and being able to find the balance in your life as you grow a newer business? I'm saying a business 3 years and younger.
So that is actually a really, really good question, because it's hard, because you want to make money. Like, that is why we're in business, to
Right.
provide for our families and to meet
Mm-hmm.
our bills. So I totally get that hustle structure, or that responsibility you feel to have that flow and trade. And by the way, I'm a real big believer in that. Like, you have to have the flow of income. If you're giving services, there has to be a flow back of finances. It works best for you and for them,
Mm-hmm.
because they understand the flow. So what
Right.
I would tell you really to focus on is just growing it slowly. As I'm promising you this, as it gets bigger, you'll be ready for it. But if you were to
Right.
wake up from point A to point Z overnight, it would be overwhelming, and it probably wouldn't be very successful. It's kind of like people who win the lottery. They say most of them go broke because they didn't work. They didn't understand the the importance of how you structure that. Like, if I won the lottery today, I know enough about money, nobody would know who it was for a year. I would have everything structured and set into place before I claimed my ticket, right?
Right.
I would want to know, like, how does this work? Where does this go? What's my responsibilities to the government, to others? And so all of that would be done before I ever stepped in there and said, I'm a winner. You can kind of think about it as your business that way. Grow
Right.
slow,
Mm-hmm.
plan those baby steps. Once you start going through those baby steps and you start executing them and understanding how that goes, you have more tools for the next step and more tools for the next step. So I would say, if you're starting your business, you're 3 years in, focus on those 12 steps to the next level, 12 steps to the next level, and just start executing those steps one at a time. And every time you execute, you're going to find more people to bring along that journey as far as help and resources. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to learn more about things you can cut out to make it simpler. Believe me, I've
Mm-hmm.
learned so much about what I can cut out to make simpler.
Right.
And
Right.
simplify, you'll have the people that you need, the income will start coming in as you're growing. So, and you need to remember, the number one thing I tell you need to do is build trust and rapport with potential clients when you're asking them for money. Like, they have to be able to trust you and understand that they're receiving something back from you and you're going to show up for that. So
Right.
I would tell you, create those 12 steps from here on, no matter where you're at in your business. I do this regularly every year.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 12 steps for this year? What part are we
Interesting. I
growing?
love that. I love
And you
that.
just start executing those steps one at a time. And it's opened the doors to get the resources we needed. The income started coming in for that next level. So
Mm-hmm.
level up, with 12-step programs.
I love that. I was a guest speaker on a masterclass yesterday, and she was talking about, she kind of laid out this was kind of for newer entrepreneurs, and she was laying out a path over the next year, a visibility path. And literally it was like month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, all the way up to 12. So it was like literally like, what are the 12 things you're going to do this year? And you're going to do one a month to get you towards your goal. I think that is brilliant. Like, absolutely brilliant. And I think I just want to add, in playing off what you were saying earlier, I do think in that quest to grow your business and to do those 12 steps, that you have to take time for you. You cannot like burn out. It's so easy in the earlier years to just work yourself to death and burn out, but you can't do that. You're not available for your clients. You're not available for yourself. You're not available for your family. It just turns into a disaster. So take Jana's word for it and make sure that you schedule in time for you. So this has been awesome. I loved talking to you. I just want to close by asking you about your mojo. Like, what do you feel is like the magical superpower that you bring to the world?
Honestly, I think it's my intuitiveness.
Okay.
And by the way, we all have it. They've given it different names, mother's intuition, like deja vu. But learning to tap into my intuitiveness and listening to it, you can tap into it. If you're not listening to it, you might as well just forget it and shut it off.
True.
But actually taking action on the things that are intuitively pulling me. But it's also been really great for me working with other clients, because intuitively I hear what they're saying over and over and over again. When I repeat it back, well, what do you think about this? That's great. I'm like, I think so too, because you've said it to me 12 times in this conversation. And so you don't hear it sometimes when you're saying it over and over and over, but that's your intuitive voice coming out.
Right.
Someone else is picking up on it. So for me, my biggest gift is connection and intuitiveness with others. So it's what keeps me from getting burnt out, by the way. Every time I meet someone, their energy is amazing. And like I'm collecting from them, and I get off at the end of the day, when my day's done, I have more energy than when I started.
Right. And that's important, because you're aligned intuitively with the people that you're sharing your energy with.
100%. And you guys are all intuitive. Just start listening to it. That gut.
Right.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny, because I thought you were going to say your mojo is hope. But I was
that's
wrong.
my legacy that I will leave behind.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for my intuitive pull, there would be no hope for me.
Right. I love it. So thank you so much, Jana, for being here today. I just so blessed to spend 45 minutes with you, and I appreciate all of your contributions.
Thank you, Lori. It's been a real pleasure for me too.
Yes. That's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to the On a Mission Mojo podcast. Ready to dive into more incredible stories of people on a mission? Next week, I'll return with a fresh episode to ignite your passion for creating a better world. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe, leave a glowing review, and spread the word to all your friends. Head over to onamissionbrands.com for more great episodes. Remember, the world needs your mojo, so go out there and let your brilliance shine.